Welcome back, guys. It's Ricky Talks over here. First of all, thank you for the support. My last videos, they've been going pretty well, so thank you for all the new subscribers as well. So this video is going to be about Hunter Biden and about the new interesting story that is coming out just now after the election is over. So we knew for weeks, even months, even years, that this guy was involved with China. He had some business in China, but the media tried to cover everything up. This is the year of COVID-19, this is the year of the election, so there was no space to cover Hunter Biden business with China and fraudulent stories with China. The sad part is this, is that the media, they do everything possible to control the public. They only send out the message that they want you guys to hear. I feel like a great news reporter should be unbiased and should report the news as it's given to him. You cannot decide which news to report and which news not to report. And unfortunately, this has been going on for years and years, and that's why we are in a situation right now where the country is divided. But I'll do a separate video about how this country is divided and how really I feel like we are going into deep moral recession. But for now, I want to show you guys a small clip made by Project Veritas that shows how CNN controls which news to report and which news not to report, and also show you two images by a famous newspaper, Politico. There is one before the election and how they're saying that the Hunter Biden news is not important, and a second one that just came out recently, how there is allegation about Hunter Biden's story and how is a business allegation with China really important. So that implies why the media waited after the election to start to take this news relevant. So bear with me, the clip will be just 1 minute and then we'll come back to conclude this video.
The Hunter Biden story was an explosive blow against Joe Biden leading up to the presidential election. But listen on this 9 a.m. editorial conference call at CNN how President Jeff Zucker chooses to not cover this important story.
I think on the Breitbart, New York Post, Fox News rabbit hole of Hunter Biden, which I don't think anybody outside of that world understood last night, the Wall Street Journal reported that their review of all corporate records showed no role for Joe Biden on the Chinese deal. And yes, I do put more credibility in the Wall Street Journal than I do in the New York Post.
Obviously, we're not going with the New York Post story right now on Hunter Biden, and which seems to be giving its marching orders to Fox News and the right-wing echo chamber about what to talk about today. Obviously, Hunter Biden's lawyer is quoted in that New York Post piece, and we'll just continue to report out. This is the very stuff that the president was impeached over. This is the stuff that Senate committees looked at and found nothing wrong in Joe Biden's interactions with Ukrainians, and now having an email that perhaps there was a meeting with someone from Burisma is, it seems, Rudy Giuliani's sort of dream-a-vision of how to throw stuff at the wall in these closing days of the campaign.
Hey, Jeff, it's just David on the Burisma story, and we should be awfully careful about that, obviously. But I do think there's a media story of what in the world are Maggie Haberman and Jake Sherman doing retweeting that story.
So as you guys can see from the clip, from those images, it's really saddening to see how the media can control us, how the media decides which news is relevant and which news is not relevant. They waited until election was over to finally say something about Hunter Biden business allegation with China. And CNN knew about those allegations 2 years ago in 2018, and they never said anything. It's really disturbing to see how they can control us, to see how they only favor one side of the country, because let's be honest, this country is divided 50% it's one side and 50% it's the other side. We cannot come along in the middle, and that's because of the media. Under Biden, all of his business allegation with China, the media should cover those allegations before the election, because you cannot have a president of the US whose son is directly involved with our #1 public enemy, which is China. Even though Joe Biden may have not done anything directly with China, his son has done business with China and is accused of tax fraud. You can have a president who has members of his family who are corrupted, who are enemy of our own nation. Unfortunately, that's the truth. And I would say the same thing if it was about Trump, if it was about Obama, any other president. So it's just wrong that the media can control what to tell us and what not to tell us. This year has been all about COVID. Then suddenly George Floyd died. The Black Lives Matter movement goes crazy and they protest, which that's their right to do so. So I'm not against protests. It's in our constitution, so they can do whatever they want. But what happened, I remember precisely, once all those people started to protest all over the US, the news didn't talk about COVID anymore. I didn't see even the graphic about how many people were dying. They only talked about those protests, about Black Lives Matter and so on. That's because that news fit their political agenda, because it was an important year, because it was election year. And it's sadly that even though I agree that COVID right now it's the most important topic in our society, but we still need to get out those important news, because you cannot have a president whose son is directly involved with our public one enemy. And his business partner, Tony Bobulinski, he had an interview with Tucker Carlson, and he said that he saw something fishy about all those operations, that's why he left. And also Joe Biden was directly involved because he was quoted as the big guy. But the media never talked about this, never. And the same thing, you go on Twitter, you go on Facebook, everything is censored, everything's censored. But the right, no, those people that support the right, they're crazy. Oh, they all live in utopia. Come on, man. You guys need to understand that we are controlled by the media, because here's the proof. They decide what to tell you and not what to tell you and when to tell you, because they knew that what Hunter Biden did was wrong, and that eventually would have come out, but they had to wait until after the election. Those allegations are really, really dangerous for our country, for our freedom, and hopefully we're gonna have some results. And honestly, I mean, you cannot have a president in the US whose son is directly involved with China, who is committing tax fraud. That's really not possible. You can have the #1 citizen of the US who's the most corrupted person in our country. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time. Subscribe if you like this video, and for more videos about like this, leave a comment and like. Thank you. Ricky Talks.